Hi, I'm STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. Every year at the start of the year, I do 2 shows that give predictions for the whole year. And last week we did a show called Choices that covered the predictions month by month throughout the 2021, and it covered all of the new moons and the eclipses for the year. And this week's show is called Step Lively, and it covers the sun sign predictions for all 12 sun signs during the year. So I think you're going to have to step lively this year, and that is because there's going to be so much gridlock this year, both financial gridlock and the kind of gridlock that results from trying to get along with people who have very dominant attitudes, and they refuse to budge or they refuse to change. And so it provides a sort of a psychological gridlock or a human gridlock in attitudes, and that doesn't get us anywhere either. So you'll have to step lively, and that is because this year there is just a rare year when there are 3 malefic planets, Mars, Saturn, and Uranus, are all in conflict with each other. And actually it's already started. Mars is in Taurus, a fixed financial sign. That's why there's financial gridlock this year. And it is conjuncting Uranus, the planet of sudden surprising change. And together those 2 planets are also squaring 3 other planets in Aquarius. And that is Saturn, which is now in Aquarius, and it is the 3rd malefic planet. So Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus are going to stay harshly squaring each other for the next 2.5 years. And that's why gridlock is going to be real hard to get over. In fact, I don't think we're going to get over it. The best you could do, perhaps, is to take to make some different choices and take a zigzag path around the gridlock so that you can still accomplish some goals, maybe some smaller goals, but you could still get ahead that way, which is good. Okay, so what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, what it means for you is that, yes, Aries, you're going to be stepping real lively this year. And the reason why is because your sign is ruled by Mars. And Mars is sort of the culprit this year. Remember, I said that Uranus in Taurus and Saturn in Aquarius are 2 malefic planets, and they're in fixed signs, and they are perpetually and firmly squaring each other for years. But Mars is the 3rd planet, your ruler, and it is going to move around, and every time it enters a fixed sign, it is going to create very harsh and challenging conditions. And that's why you have to step lively, Aries. Your sign has a lot of courage, and it's sort of intrepid. That means it sort of doesn't mind getting out there and being a pioneer. But this is a year, Aries, when you should really guard yourself and try to keep yourself under strict control. And the reason why is that if you don't guard your own safety and your own tongue, you could really regret that. And the reason why is that you could overstep yourself a little bit and put yourself actually in a very vulnerable position. So every time your ruler threatens other situations and provides gridlock due to circumstances beyond our control, you could be affected. And if you're going to decide to sort of jump in and fix anything, I urge you not to do that, because you could make yourself a target instead, and you would really regret that. So particularly guard your tongue this year, Aries, and particularly in the month of July, when Mars will go into Leo. And Leo trines your sign. They're both fire signs, Aries and Leo. And so you can be sort of filled, or you can be very responsive to passionate people that, they want to do something new, and they could ask you to go along with them. But that's why I'm urging you to keep yourself solidly under control this year, because if you move too fast, if you jump in where angels fear to tread, you are really going to regret it, Aries. And that's because there's just too much gridlock this year. And you could not only become a victim of the gridlock, you could become a victim of others who have their own intentions and who can overpower you, believe it or not. So I hope you're very cautious this year. And because by the end of the year, you could be going on a long trip, and that could turn out really well. Try to stay calm until then. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when I would say the game is up. And the reason why I say that is because you had a heck of a good year last year, Taurus. And that is because the earth signs lived through a very rare period last year when there were 3 planets in Capricorn. Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and they were all trining your planet Taurus, where you have Uranus and Mars right now, and they were also trining the sign of Virgo as well. These 3 planets are no longer in Capricorn. In fact, there's only one there now. The other 2 have moved on. Saturn and Jupiter are now in Aquarius, squaring your sun, Taurus. And so that can set up a lot of financial gridlock because yours is a financial sign. So you need to be very, very careful, particularly with your investments, which is what your sign rules. However, I'm happy to say that if the game is up, I don't mean that you fail at something. What I mean is that long-term plans that you have had, so it might be something that involves a retirement of something or a long investment plan, can be maturing this year and ending. And when they end, you could be very pleased, actually delighted with the outcome. That's what I meant that the game is up, because what you've been working for so long probably is going to come to fruition, and then you could have another problem. You are in danger in July when Mars in Leo is squaring your sun sign. You're in danger right now because Mars is conjuncting Uranus in your sun sign. So you've got to guard your money really closely, Taurus, and sort of keep your back to the wall if you can, and protect yourself and your possessions. The 2 most possessive signs are the fixed financial signs, your sign and Scorpio. So it simply means that you've got to be really careful, and actually you could be very pleased with some sort of beneficial outcome to a long-term plan by November, when there is a full moon lunar eclipse in your sign. But on the other hand, since Mars will be opposing that full moon and Uranus in your sign, because it's going to be in Scorpio in November, it simply means, since Scorpio rules taxes, that you're going to have the tax man on your back this year, Taurus. And don't fight them. Pay whatever they say you owe, and then fight afterwards, because that way you will avoid expensive penalties. And you don't want to be giving away your money if you don't have to. So really watch things. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. Despite the fact that you can be involved in intense gridlock at the beginning of the year, and also suffer some sort of a setback, or things are not going all your way, or it may be that you don't know the whole truth about people. There can be some people around you that you really can't trust, and you need to spend a little time sort of weeding them out of your social sphere if you can. Despite all of that, and the gridlock, and the people with conflicting opinions that will not listen to anybody else, I'm happy to say, Gemini, by the time of the solar eclipse on June 10th, at 20 degrees of your sign, you are going to be really heading for a much better future. And you're going to love it, Gemini. And the reason why you're really going to love a new beginning that you make somewhere around your birthday is because you could be very surprised this year by enjoying the support of very serious people that are like experts, and they're supporting you. And you could say to yourself, this hasn't happened before. Why is it happening now? Well, the reason why it's happening now is because Saturn in Aquarius, which was going to be there for 2.5 years, so you're going to enjoy this for a few more years to come, and Jupiter, which is in that sign this year and can make you very popular, are trining your sun and the Libra sun. And so that is why these serious people, that's what Saturn represents, serious, older, highly respected people, are going to support you, Gemini, and it could begin right around your birthday. It could begin before that, but serious people don't move fast. They don't move as fast as you do. And so they could decide to support you earlier, but they really do it by June. And the reason why is because you have a unique ability to communicate to people in simple language. And you have the ability to take a huge, serious concept and sort of lay it on the line so that anybody can understand it. You are very admired for that, Gemini. To you, it's easy, but it's not easy to serious people who really know a lot of the details, but can't sum it all up and can't get people interested the way that you can. And so by October, Gemini, you are probably going to receive a reward or some huge recognition for work well done. So that is coming up this year, and it's due to the support that you're going to be enjoying from other people. You're not used to that, but it's still going to happen, first silently and then verbally as the year goes on, so that by October you're going to be getting a reward for that. Lucky you. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Oh, Cancer. You know, your sign rules the home and the family, and it rules real estate, and it rules things, manual labor, things you do with your hand, and it rules everything coming out of the earth. So it rules mining and agriculture, but it rules really good home cooking, and it rules nurturing. And so, Cancer, this year, by the summertime, since Cancers are very sensitive people, they can almost understand what people are thinking without having a conversation with them. So they're very sensitive to other people's moods. And when you are able to see the war clouds gathering up above, you may decide by summertime, Cancer, that you are going to prepare to take on an additional role in your community. And this would be in addition to everything else you're doing. Okay, it's sort of like a second job. But you are going to probably prepare for that and decide to do that as you see the war clouds gathering, because it's the home and the family and the country that you really love. And nurturing is what you do best, Cancer. And we're probably going to need your skill in that area. A lot of people will, so I think you'll be perfect for it. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, you know, yours is a fire sign, and your sign is sort of getting hit this year in many, many ways, Leo. And the reason why is that every time that Mars comes into a fixed sign, and yours is a fixed sign, Leo, it is going to create harsh conditions among malefic planets that do nothing but cause trouble. And so that's going to happen in your sign, and by summertime. And before that, you may even experience some sort of a setback this year. It could even be now. And the reason why is that Mars is in a fixed sign right now. It is conjuncting Uranus in Taurus, and together they are squaring your sun right now, Leo. And Saturn in Aquarius is opposing your sun sign right now. And so that simply means, first of all, since your sign rules the heart, the back, and the blood supply, you have got to be very careful of your health this year, but particularly any time that it is in a Mars is in a fixed sign. So there can be sudden fluctuations in your investments or the value of your investments right now. And there is also a time this summer when Mars comes into your sign, and as I said, opposes Saturn, when you have to be really sure not to take a gamble on anything. And also, I urge you not to take on any extra debt this year, Leo. No matter how much money you have, don't do it. And that is because the financial value of things can fluctuate so much this year. you know, no matter how sound your investment is, it could go down very suddenly. Maybe it'll go back up as well, but why chance it? And so you need to be a little bit careful and really watch your health and everything else, and particularly your money right now, but your health by July, because July is the most dangerous month of the whole year. So if you have even a little hint of a health problem, I would nip that in the bud if I were you, Leo. Get somebody to take care of it right now. And then in November, when Mars goes into Scorpio, a sign it rules, and then squares your Sun and opposes Uranus in Taurus, it'll be that the fixed signs have malefic planets in them in harsh aspect, and everybody can be subject to situations beyond their control that involve money going up and down, or high bills that come about very unexpectedly. So you have to step lively this year, Leo, and I think that's so that you can stay out of any pitfalls that you come across, and really guard your assets this year and your health. Don't take a chance with that at all. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo, this is a time when you start the year with your mind really on business, and it could also be on your health, on your career, on your investments, and on your long-term retirement. And why is that so ideal for you, Virgo? It is because the first new moon of the year, which is occurring next week in Capricorn, has 4 planets in Capricorn's trining your Sun, and Mars and Uranus and Taurus are trining your Sun. That's going to be 6 planets just pouring their energy into your Sun sign, Virgo. And since Virgo rules occupations which are of service to others, like nurses and teachers and social workers and even community volunteers, I would say there are some big business or government decisions that will favor you. And so that's why, you know, I think you can get through a year that has severe gridlock in it simply by just doing your job, Virgo. In other words, pay attention each day to what your duties are and just do them one day at a time. And you may be able to bypass some of the gridlock that is around. And I'm happy to say, by the time of the full moon lunar eclipse in November, on November 19th at 27 degrees of Taurus, you can be very pleased with a windfall of money. There can be more money coming your way right about then, because that lunar eclipse is going to trine your Sun. So that's why you need to sort of filter out everything else that could be emotional or could involve gridlock or involves other people's problems. You're a good problem solver, but this is the year just to stick to doing your job every single day, Virgo, and that's enough. And also watching your health very carefully, which you can do. Don't worry about anything, and enjoy that windfall when it comes in November. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra, lucky you. The thing that's so lucky, Libra, is that last year is over. I think we all feel sort of relieved that 2020 is no longer with us. And particularly for you, Libra, because just like Gemini, you're going to be really surprised at the strong support, maybe rather quiet, but strong support you enjoy, not just this year, but for the next 2.5 years, the whole time that Saturn is now in Aquarius, which rules the future, and it trines your Sun. So that is indicating people who are very experienced, who've been around for a long time, who may be the heads of corporations or government agencies or just forming their own companies, may really back you up this year, Libra. And the reason why is that they admire you for your calm diplomatic style. And you will have that on display all year, because not only you, but all of us are going to experience gridlock, which can be very frustrating, and that could be financial gridlock due to circumstances beyond our control. We didn't cause it, but you know, we can get caught in the middle of it. And then there can also be the kind of gridlock that is among people who have different opinions and they just won't compromise at all. Compromise is ruled by your sign. You're good at that. And that's what you're admired for. Because of your ability to compromise with others, and your diplomatic style. In fact, you never get too heated in an intense situation. It simply means that by your birthday in October, Libra, you are going to go to the top of the class. You will be recognized for your wonderful people traits, your ability to intermix with others in a year when we're hardly ever going to see that. You're going to be the one that has the ability to bring peace or resolution in a way that other people can abide by. I mean, it doesn't mean you've got the answers to everything, but you have a wonderful way of sort of moving people's opinions around until something gels, and they admire you for that, the people that are very serious. So I think you go to the top of the class by your birthday. I think you're going to have a great birthday too. Remember, this continues for the next few years, this wonderful support. Even if it surprises you that you've got it, you do, and it's not going to go away. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio, yours is a fixed sign. That means you're going to hit rough water this year, just like every other fixed sign. And the 4 fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And that is because whenever Mars enters a fixed sign, it will create harsh aspects to the other 2 malefic planets that are already in fixed signs and are stuck there for years to come. So you're going to face rough water because you are just as set in your opinions as other fixed signs are. You're not willing to budge either, Scorpio. And it can be, except for a brief period between the end of May and the end of July, when Neptune goes into Pisces and trines your sun, it can be that you are caught up in some sort of financial gridlock or personality gridlock. In other words, watch out for people who just want to argue, Scorpio. You have the stamina to withstand them, but why would you waste your time? Don't do that. So withdraw if you can. At least it's saving yourself a little effort, and instead concentrate on your money, because danger lurks, particularly in this summer, in July, and then again in November. I think you can handle any of the trouble that's coming in November. You may even be able to straighten it out. But what you're going to be doing is you are in danger, particularly now, since Mars and Uranus and Taurus are opposing your sun sign, and in the summertime, when Mars is in Leo, squaring your sun sign, Uranus will be opposing it, and Saturn will be squaring your sun sign. And so, you know, you might have the fight of your life on your hands this summer, or be involved in something that could even involve war. And you have to guard not only yourself, but your possessions. Remember, the 2 fixed financial signs are very possessive. Well, others could want your possessions. You have to put some extra guards around your possessions this year, Scorpio, and don't take a gamble or a risk with anything. This is the time, if you have debt, to pay it down. Otherwise, save your money. You're going to need it because your investments or your expenses can fluctuate this year, and you've got to have something to cover the gaps. And so that's why you need to be extra careful with money, and just keep your back to the wall this year, Scorpio. It's a little dangerous. If you just woke up every morning and said to yourself, where's the danger today? And then you had your guard up so that it wouldn't hurt you, that's how to get through the year for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius, you are just blessed this year. And I didn't say that things would be easy, I said you're blessed. And that is because in December of 2020, just this last year, there was a solar eclipse in your sign, indicating the possibility of a new start for you this year, Sagittarius. Well, then in May of this year, on May 26th, there's a lunar eclipse in your sign. And then 6 months after that, on December 4th, there is a total solar eclipse in your sign at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So I think this year, Sagittarius, you are taking a higher path. You're going to do that. And yet, I think that you may actually, sometime during the year, take the road that is least traveled. You may decide to take 2 steps back this year, and it won't hurt you at all. I'm telling you, the lights are with you this year, Sagittarius. Not for you to burst forward, but for you to make something right. You can't take a higher path if you've skipped a few holes in the lower paths. You've got to go back, take 2 steps back, and do something really right, or do something that will benefit you for as long as you live. In other words, it could be a small step. It could be getting an education. It could have something to do with foreign countries, but make it right this year. Because with so much light in your sign every 6 months, you're protected. And so if you take the road less traveled, if you don't do what all your friends are doing, but you do what you know is the right thing to do, and it requires taking 2 steps back, that will profit you in the long run. And that will enable you to rise very high by the time of the total solar eclipse in your sign next December. Because if you think this eclipse last December hit you, wait till you get to next December. And a total solar eclipse guarantees you're going to make a change. But it's in your sun sign. If anybody can do a good job of that, it's you, Sagittarius. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. It's very important for you this year, just like Virgo, to stick to business. And that is every single day, Capricorn. What could the business be? Well, it could be your job. It could also be a goal of yours. In fact, this year it's a good idea to have 2 goals, sort of plan A and plan B, so that when you hit gridlock in any way, you don't stay stuck in it. You take one of your choices and try that. And if that doesn't work, take another choice and try that. But always with the idea of sticking to business. So the business would be your career, or it would be your health, or it could be your investments, or it could be planning for retirement. That would be good. It could also be something that upholds the things you hold dear. Capricorn rules history. It could be a family history. It could be the history of a whole nation. Capricorn rules Great Britain. They have a lot of history behind them. And it rules antiques, it rules the mountains, and it rules old things, which you hold very dear, Capricorn. So this is a time for you to stick to business. And luckily, this month in January, the first new moon of the year is in your sign, and there's 4 planets there. That's occurring next week, Capricorn. So you're going to be able to get off to a real good start as far as paying attention to business goes. It's just that when you are thinking that you're going to get caught in gridlock, that is when you just have to close your eyes to that and still stick to business every single day this year. And you could succeed by taking that zigzag path this year. And it may culminate with some extra money coming your way in November under the lunar eclipse in Taurus, which trines your sun. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. Okay, we each have a little cross to bear in life, and you're going to have it for the next 2.5 years, Aquarius. But yours is a fixed sign. You are a lot stronger than you look, Aquarius. This fools people. People don't realize how absolutely fixed you are in your determination or your plans or your, not only your goals, but your values. You know, fixed signs don't budge. So I'm sure that if you have a lot of old friends, all of them would agree that you've never changed. Well, that's okay, because your sign rules the future. And it's what we learn from the past that helps us reinvent ourselves in the future. And your sign rules invention as well as music, space, it rules aviation, it rules cyber warfare because it rules the internet, it rules the whole telecommunications industry, anything that goes through the air such as electronics. And so you actually are a person that likes to tinker with things. And that's good because things are going to slow down a little bit for you this year. You're also going to be very popular this year, Aquarius. You should try to enjoy that. If you get any invitations, even if you're tired, even if you don't feel like it, say yes to those invitations. And the reason why is that you only have Jupiter in your sign this year. It won't be in your sign next year. And in fact, it leaves a little bit this spring, but it'll be back. So you can be popular. You can be worried about a financial matter, particularly right now, that is out of your control, that you can't do anything about. And that's because Mars and Uranus in Taurus are squaring Jupiter, Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn in your sign right now. And when Mars gets to Leo, it will be opposing your sign. You actually have to be very careful of your health this year, Aquarius. And once again, fixed signs, they don't like to give up on anything. I'm not saying give up on your health. I'm saying pay more attention to it. Because when Mars gets into Leo, which rules the heart, and opposes Saturn in your sign, push could come to shove. And you really need to make sure you are in extremely good health this year, next year, and the year after that. This is a time, since financial conditions will be beyond your control. It doesn't mean you're going broke or anything, Aquarius, but your financial situation can be threatened in one way or another, as all of ours can, by sudden fluctuations in value. And so by the fall, particularly by November, when there's a lunar eclipse in Taurus, which will also square your sun, there is an indication that your financial future changes this year. And I think it will be later on in the year, by late fall or so, your financial future changes. Now, I don't think that you're going to actually go broke or anything. What I think is that it may be the way you're paid changes. It doesn't mean that there's even less of that, but it could be the way you're paid changes. But something in your financial future changes. And I think it may take clear till the end of the year to get something straightened out, and then the change will occur. So you need to watch out for that too. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, you can be looking at a very rosy time, Pisces, this spring. And why is that? Because Jupiter, a major planet, is going to change signs at the end of May, and it will come into your sign and stay there till the end of July. And Neptune is already in your sign. That'll increase your popularity. That will make you sort of dreamy. It'll make you think that, oh, gee, everything's going my way. But this is a year when we're all going to be facing reality and gridlock in one way or another, and even danger, perhaps even the danger of war. And so that's why you need to guard your personal safety, Pisces, because I think this year, a burden that you take on this year, so that could be something like maybe you have your job, but you decide to go back to school and increase your skills. Well, that could take up a lot of your days and nights, so that would be a burden. But the burden turns into a blessing by 2022, by next year. And that is what you should keep in mind as you take on a burden, that it turns into a blessing next year when Jupiter comes into your sign for the whole year, and you're going to have a great year in 2022, Pisces. The other thing is that as the summer goes on, you may feel left behind, and that is because others will move on, but you won't necessarily go with them. And so you may not change quite as much as other people do. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, because that little feeling of being alone or left behind turns into a heavenly situation in 2022. Maybe it's just God's way of slowing you down for a while so that you can think about what else you'd like to do. And that way you can sort of dream some good dreams this year and make them come true next year. That is possible, All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.